Right. In the last two sessions, we discussed about what is the meaning of Oracle Fusion Cloud Financials applications or Oracle Fusion Cloud applications. The meaning of application we discussed, and what are the different product families are available from Oracle. Those points we discussed, and these are the different product family. These are the different ERP products which Oracle acquired. Here you can see that. And from each ERP, the best solution they selected and they build a product called as Oracle Fusion. And what is the meaning of cloud we discussed, and what is the difference between on-premise and cloud? These points also we just discussed. And on-premise, everything we have to manage. In case of cloud, the servers, applications, and the maintenance of the applications, everything can be managed by Oracle. Just we have to take the subscription. When you take the subscription, we have a different subscription options from Oracle as a SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. In case of SaaS and PaaS, we get applications access from Oracle. So what level of access you require? If you want to do some modifications to the applications what Oracle is providing, you can go with a PaaS. If you don't want to modify the applications what Oracle is providing as per your business requirement, and if you want to use the same applications as it is, then the best option is SaaS. Okay, in case of IaaS, you will get access to storage space only. And when you get the subscription from Oracle, it could be SaaS or PaaS. By default, we get two instances. One we can use for testing purpose. That instance we call as a test instance. The other instance we can use for production purpose, call it as a production instance. So in the test instance, during the implementation, we use this test instance. Once the solution is finalized and everything is approved by client, finally we can move to production and we can do all the setups. Then business will start using the production instance. And if you are going to do the customizations, okay, if you are going to do the customizations, if you are going to do very few customizations, you may use test instance itself for customizations purpose. If you are going to do more customizations as per business requirement, you can go for separate instance called as development instance. You can call this development instance as a dev instance, production instance as a prod instance. So these are the points we discussed. And for training purpose or say learning purposes, Oracle is providing Vision instance. So what is the difference between Vision instance and other instances? In other instances, you don't find any sample data. In these instances, you never find any sample data. But when you look at Vision instance, you can find good amount of sample data in every application. This is just for training purpose. No client will use this Vision instance for their business purpose. This is just for training purpose only. So when we get access to instance, how to create our own user also we discussed in the last session. If you are going to create your own user, we have to assign minimum 2 roles. Okay, minimum 2 roles. Those are application implementation consultant and IT security manager roles. Application implementation consultant role will give the access to perform the setups. If you are going to implement payables, what setups we have to do, those all you can do by using the application implementation consultant. The same way you pick any application, if you want to do the setups, we require this role. And IT security manager will allow us to create the users and we can assign the required roles to users with the help of IT security manager. And these 2 roles we call as seeded roles. Okay, these 2 roles we are calling as seeded roles. That means Oracle is providing these roles. Yeah, this is what we discussed in the last 2 sessions. Any questions from anyone, please? If no questions, we'll proceed with some other content. Any questions, please?
Lakshman, we have missed the first two sessions. So is this fine to proceed with this classes? So this is Mahadev, Lakshman.
Yeah, please. Yes, we completed two sessions. What is your question?
No, we have missed this, so there is no information, right? So as of now, still the main sessions are not started, right?
Yeah.
So we can able to cope up
In the
with this.
sense, these two are introduction sessions. Okay. So it is not like we are not classifying as a main sessions or with some other sessions classification. We are going in the sequence to understand about this product. We are going in the sequence. What is this course all about? The very high level we discussed. And in the last session, we discussed what does it mean by instances and what different type of instances we can have, how to create the user. If you think you missed out those two sessions, you will get videos. Okay, you can keep in touch with the team. You will get those two sessions videos. You can go through. If you have any questions, we can discuss.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we can discuss. Yeah, right. Any other questions from anyone, please?
So Lakshman, the environment access you guys providing is the Vision instance or is it a test instance?
Which instance you are referring?
No, when we sign up for this course, you guys
gave. Yeah. You will get access to. It's kind of not. You will have a sample data. You will get a Vision instance, but not really Vision instance. So this sort of test instance we get, and when we test, we create some sample data. Okay, you get kind of test instance only, not Vision instance. Within that instance, you don't find any Vision data. You will get test instance for our practice.
Yeah.
But still, you can find the sample data in this because we are testing in that instance. So the sample data will get generated. Yeah.
Lakshman, in cloud, this prod and test instance are how frequently they are cloning it?
No, by default, they don't clone with certain schedules. Okay. If you want to copy this production instance to your test instance or other instance, if there is any need, you have to raise SR accordingly. They can do. You have to request them when you want them to clone, copy.
Okay.
There are no fixed schedules.
Okay.
If required, if you request, they will do it. Otherwise, no.
That is as per need, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Any other questions? Right. No questions. Now, what we'll do is, before we start with the application related business process and all, we have to understand when we talk about standard business process, when we learn these financials applications, exactly where we are going to stand, we should get that clarity. The entire business processes which happens in the organizations across the different departments, okay, where our financials applications, our finance departments are going to stand, which finance department is going to have a communication with which other departments, what purpose, based on which activity, what transactions need to be recorded in the system, we have to understand as a basic information. Once we are comfortable with that, we can start working on the instance so that it would be very easy for us to understand what we are going to do in the system environment. Okay. In today's session, let's talk about the basic business processes. From tomorrow, we can start working on the instance. Okay. In yesterday's session, just we created a user, nothing else we did apart from that within the instance. In today's session, we'll talk about the basic business processes which are involved with respect to finance and other applications which are connected with the finance departments. So once we are comfortable with that, we can start working on instance right from tomorrow. Fine. The very basic processes are procurement. Okay, we procure something, we purchase something, or say just simply purchase. We purchase something and we pay. This is one process. When you purchase something and when you are going to make the payment to supplier, what process we have to follow, which departments are involved, we have to understand. The same way, we involve in the sales activity, we do sales, and finally we receive the payment from customer, receipt. We purchase and we pay to supplier. We purchase from the suppliers and will make the payment to suppliers. We sell something to the customer and we receive the payment from customer. That means receipt. So you have to understand these two processes. Okay, these two processes you have to understand how this takes place in any business. What is the standard process every company follows when they purchase and pay, when they sell and collect the payment from customer. So in today's session, let's focus on this. First, we'll talk about if you are going to purchase and when you are going to make the payment to supplier, what are the departments are involved in this process? What is the responsibility of each and every department? Where this process is initiated? When this process will end? And how that information can be communicated with other departments? We'll focus on this. Okay. So first, let's talk about procurement process or purchasing process. So these are the different departments can involve in the procurement process. Let's take simple example. Say we got one order from one of our customer. The order is for 100 laptops. Okay, we received one order from one customer for 100 laptops. When we get order from customer, what we have to do is we have to check. We have to check whether stock is available or not. Where we have to check? We have to check with inventory department. Okay, we have to check with inventory department. So we received one order from the customer and the order quantity is 100 laptops. How many laptops are available? So we have to check with inventory department. If stock is available within the inventory department, say you just verified with inventory department is saying, yes, we have 1,000 laptops. Then we can supply to customer. That's all. We get orders from the customers. We check whether stock is available or not in the inventory department. If stock is available, we can ship to the customer. We can supply the same item to the customer. That's all. If stock is not available, we have to purchase. This is what we have to focus. Okay, if stock is available, yes, we can supply to the customers. That can be done by sales department. Okay, sales department can get orders from the customers. They will check with inventory department. If stock is available, they can supply to the customer, then the process will end. If any order from the customer, if stock is not available within the inventory department, then we have to initiate the purchasing process or say procurement process. Let's take simple example. We received an order from the customer for 100 laptops. And when you check with the inventory department says only 25 laptops are available. Okay, within the inventory department, only 25 laptops are available. Now 75 laptops shortage we have within the inventory. Now we have to purchase. We have to purchase 75 laptops. Along with the 75, you may plan to purchase few more laptops. Whatever it may be their plan. As per this customer order 100 laptops, okay, we have to purchase 75 more laptops because we have only 25. So then what we have to do is the inventory department should take the responsibility of creating purchase requisition. Okay, they have to create the purchase requisition. We call it as PR in short. if any shortage within the inventory department, the inventory department is responsible to raise purchase requisition. What information they will include in the purchase requisition? Which item is required, how much quantity they required, how soon that item is required, and where that item is required, in which warehouse. Those details they can specify within the purchasing, within the purchase requisition. Who has to prepare the purchase requisition? Inventory department. After preparing the purchase requisition, that need approvals from purchasing department. Okay, approvals. Okay, based on the demand and shortage, they see like what is the demand. If stock is available, they can supply. If any shortage, they have to raise the purchase requisition, and internally they have to get the approvals. They may create the purchase requisition, 75 laptops are required, so and so laptops, and this and some other specifications also they'll give. We'll see when we work on this process, we will come to know how to create the purchase requisition, how to enter the data within that. Now the focus is we have to understand the process. Okay, we have to understand the process, not exactly what we include as a part of so and so documents. So they create purchase requisition, they get the approvals. After getting the approvals, the inventory department will pass this approved purchase requisition information to purchasing department. Based on the purchasing, based on this approved purchase requisition, the purchase department will create RFQs. RFQ stands for request for quotations. Okay. Request for quotations. So inventory department will pass the information to purchasing department as we need 75 laptops. Please procure those. Once purchase department will receive the information from inventory department, they will request for quotations. That means they will request the suppliers to provide the quotations, but saying we need 75 laptops and so laptops, and this is the configuration requirements, and how soon we require. The purchasing department will pass that information to suppliers to provide the quotations. That means purchasing department is going to request the suppliers to provide the quotations based on our requirement in the organization. Whenever purchasing department will request the suppliers to provide the quotations, suppliers will provide the quotations. That means the purchasing department will receive the quotations. Receive quotations. After receiving the quotations, the purchasing department will analyze those quotations. Say you requested 10 suppliers to provide the quotations. If you request the 10 suppliers to provide the quotations, all suppliers may respond, or else few suppliers may provide the quotations. Whatever it may be, the next step would be we will receive the quotations from suppliers. After receiving the quotations from suppliers, we have to analyze the quotations that we call as quotation analysis, or simply you can say quote analysis. Okay, quotation analysis. We request, we in the sense purchase department. Okay, we request for quotations, and suppliers will provide the quotations and will receive the quotations, and we have to analyze those quotations. Okay, we have to analyze those quotations. After what we do as a part of quotation analysis, we will check which supplier is offering best price, which supplier is giving the best terms. Say one supplier is offering each laptop as a 30,000 INR. Other supplier is offering the laptop at 32,000 INR. The third supplier is offering the laptop at 28,000 INR. The supplier who is offering the laptop at 28,000 INR, they say they are expecting the payment immediately. And who is offering the laptop as 30,000, say they are giving 1 month time to make the payment. And the supplier who is offering the laptop at 32,000, they are giving 6 months time to make the payment. Now organization should take the decision. So that we call as a quotation analysis. Who is giving at best price, who is giving the best terms and conditions related to supplying that laptop. We have to look into that we call as quotation analysis. After doing the quotation analysis, you can choose the best quotation. Okay, out of the quotations what we are receiving from multiple suppliers, after doing the quotation analysis, you can choose the best quotation. Okay, choose best quotation. Okay, we have to choose the best quotation. After choosing the best quotation, we have to place the order to that supplier. Okay, once we finalize the supplier by choosing the quotation, we have to place the order. What purpose we are going to place the order? To purchase. So that we call as purchase order. Okay, we have to place purchase order. We call as PO. Okay, we have to place the purchase order to supplier. Say you requested quotation from 10 suppliers, only 6 suppliers responded. We received 6 quotations. We analyzed, one supplier is offering best price, so you may choose that quotation, and finally you can place the order to the same supplier. When you place the order to supplier through purchase order, internally you have to get the approvals. Okay, internally you have to get the approvals. Within the purchasing department, you have to get the approvals from authorized people who can approve. Again, for the purchase orders, you have to get the approvals from them. Once we place the purchase order which is approved, supplier will supply the material. That means our organization will receive the material that we can record in the system as a GRN. Goods receipt note. Or simply you can call as a receipt. Okay, you can say goods receipt note, or you can call as a simply just receipt. So what we record within this, when you place the purchase order, what information we have to include? We have to include, we are placing the purchase order to which supplier, what item we required, which item laptop we require, how much quantity we required, 75, and when we required, and at what price we required, and to where supplier has to supply that item. Okay, everything we have to include in the purchase order. Once that is approved, we will send that purchase order to supplier. Then supplier will respond to the purchase order by supplying the material. So from which supplier, what item, how much quantity we received, we can record by using the GRN, goods receipt note, or simply you can call as a receipt. How much quantity of items we are receiving, for that we'll make a note that we call as a receipt. Say we received 75 quantity from the supplier, and when you look into that 75 quantity, 2 laptops are damaged. Then what we have to do is, we have to return those 2. So that you can call as purchase returns. Okay, that we call as purchase returns. Okay, this is what we have to understand. If there is any demand, that may be external demand or internal demand. External means items, some customers are placing the orders. That is a external demand. Internal demand means within your organization, you need 10 laptops. That laptop stock is not available as a part of your inventory. Then that is a case where we have to purchase. It may be internal demand, means you may require within your organization, or else demand may be from customers. So it could be internal demand or external demand. We have to raise the purchase requisition. We have to raise the purchase requisition, and we have to get the approvals. Then the approved purchase requisition, inventory department should pass to purchasing department. Based on approved purchase requisition, the purchase department will raise the RFQ, request for quotations, by specifying what items, how much quantity we need by which date. Then suppliers will respond. That means we will receive quotations from the suppliers, After receiving the quotations from suppliers, we have to do the quote analysis. Quote analysis is nothing but you have to check who is providing at best price and with the best terms. Finally, we choose the best quotations and we'll place the order to supplier. Before we place the order, internally we have to get the approvals for the purchase order. And whenever we receive the material or goods or item, you can call with any name. You can call as item or goods or material. Whenever we receive the item from the supplier, we have to record in our books as a GRN, goods receipt note, or you can say receipt. And if you want to return any item quantities because of damage and some other issues, you can perform the purchase returns. Fine. Once material is received, we create the GRN and purchase department will pass this GRN information to payables department. So stating from so-and-so supplier, this much quantity of items we received and this is the price. With all these details, the purchasing department will pass GRN information to payables department. Based on GRN information, the payables department will create purchase invoice. Purchase invoice. What details they can include within the purchase invoice? Who is the supplier? Okay, how much amount we have to pay? When we have to pay? To which address we have to send that payment? All the details they include within the purchase invoice. Okay, and when we have to pay? Okay, we have to pay within 10 days or 20 days. There will be due date when we have to pay. That information also they can include within the purchase invoice. How they are creating the purchase invoice? Based on the GRN information. How purchase department is creating the RFQ? Based on the approved purchase requisition. See this connectivity. Okay, based on the purchase requisition, purchase department will create RFQ. Based on GRN information, payables department will create purchase invoice. So whenever they arrive the due date, the payables department will take the responsibility of making the payment. Okay, they'll make the payment. And here one more point. So we are talking about purchasing department. So in some companies, these all activities can be performed by purchasing department only. In some companies, there will be separate department to perform these activities. Okay, raising RFQs, receiving quotations, analyzing, choosing the best quotations. This all can be done by a department called as sourcing department. Okay, the department name is sourcing. There could be sourcing department so that the sourcing department will take care of all these activities and purchasing department will look after purchase, just placing the purchase orders and looking after this, recording the GRN and the purchase returns and all. Okay, or else you can just, the purchasing department can involve in all these activities. This totally depends on the organization process. They are going to manage those activities with the same department or different departments. But for our understanding purpose, you can take this all can be done by purchasing department. So when there is some separate department called as sourcing department, accordingly they'll have a separate application called as sourcing application. Okay, we'll talk about it. Okay, just take these simple points. Okay, the purchase department will involve in all these activities. So based on GRN information, payables department will create purchase invoice and they'll process the payment. Now, when we talk about the purchase invoice, why we are creating purchase invoice? To make the payment to supplier. We need information to whom we have to pay, to which supplier we have to pay, how much we have to pay, all the details we can include within the purchase invoice. Now, when you create the purchase invoice, you may create the purchase invoices with the various reasons. What are those reasons? Purchase invoice you may create for the expenses, that means expense related purchase invoice. And you may create purchase invoice for the items what you are purchasing. Okay, when you purchase any item from the supplier, you have to create the purchase invoice to make the payment. Say you spend some expense if you want to pay some expense, you have to create the purchase invoice, or else you render some services. You took some services from some organization. For the services what you took, you have to pay. That means you may create purchase invoice for the services, whatever you rendered for your organization, or else you might have purchased asset. Say you purchased one asset called as building or land or machinery or plant or furniture or computers to use in your organization, not to sell. Okay. So if you purchase any asset to make the payment to that asset related purchase, you have to create the purchase invoice. That means when you talk about purchase invoice, the purchase invoice, whatever you create within the payables, that may belongs to asset related purchase or expense related purchase invoice. The purchase invoice can be expense related purchase invoice or item related purchase invoice. Now we are discussing about item. Okay. Or else the purchase invoice may belongs to services related. You are to make this payment to services, you may be creating purchase invoice, or else that may be asset related purchase invoice. Your organization purchased some asset, so to that you have to make the payment. For that you may create purchase invoice. Okay. So if purchase invoices belongs to expense items or services, just we create in the payables, and as per due date we'll make the payment. If purchase invoices belongs to asset related purchase, you purchase one machinery, then you will create purchase invoice in the payables. Okay. You follow this process. We raise the quotations, we receive the quotations, we will place the order for that machinery, and that is the process remains same. In our payables department, what are the purchase invoice or recording? That purchase invoice is related to asset related purchase. The payables department will share that information to asset department. Okay, they will share purchase invoice information to asset department. Why? That purchase invoices belongs to asset purchase. Who has to maintain the assets information? Asset department. So if purchase invoice is related to asset related purchase, simply I'm writing here. Okay. Asset related purchase invoice. Okay. If purchase invoice is related to asset related purchase invoice, the payables department will share that information to asset department. Based on that information, asset department will create fixed asset in their books. Okay. So we purchase one plant. That for that we have to make the payment. So we have to create the purchase invoice and we may make the payment now or later. But payables department will pass that asset related purchase invoice information to asset department, so that they'll record in their books as one new plant is purchased. And based on the usage and all, we'll calculate the depreciation. Okay, depreciation means say we purchase one vehicle. Maybe after 1 year or 2 years, if you look at that vehicle valuation, the value will come down. Okay, so how much value we have to reduce to identify the current value of that asset? We have to calculate the depreciation. We'll discuss about it when we work on this relevant application. We'll talk about it as a process. If any purchase invoices belongs to asset purchase, payables department will share that information to asset department. Based on that, asset department will create fixed asset in their books, and based on the usage or time, they calculate the depreciation. And the payables department will pass payment information to cash department. Okay, cash department. What is the responsibility of cash department? Cash department responsibility is the cash department will maintain bank accounts and they perform the bank statement reconciliations. Okay, bank statement reconciliations. Now, payables department should share payment information to cash department. What cash department will do is they do the bank statement reconciliation. How they do? So one side they'll get the bank statement. Other side they get all the payment information from payables department. Okay, so payables payments. Say cash department received payment information from payables department. So for the last month, as per payables department, they processed 20 payments. Who collected this information? Cash department is collecting the data from payables department related to payments. So what they collected, the payables department provided, they processed 20 payments in the last month. And they collect the bank statement from banker. As per bank statement, how many payments are processed? They collect. That may say is only 18. Now they have to analyze. Okay, the both should match. As per bank statement and as per payables department, what are the payments are processed, those should match. If there is any mismatch, they have to find out the reasons. They'll cross-check these two records. One is bank statement record and other one is payables department records. So as per bank statement, they can see only 18 payments are processed, but payables department is saying they processed 20 payments. Yes, payables department is processed 20 payments, but the 20 payments are not yet cleared in the bank. Only 18 payments only cleared. Say they given 20 payments means say they given 20 checks to the suppliers. Out of 20 checks, the 18 checks only cleared in the bank. That is the reason 18 payments only reflecting in the bank statement, which are not reflecting, they'll just go through. And the reason could be the suppliers not yet submitted for clearing. They'll find out the reasons, or else take the other case. As per bank statement, 18 payments are processed, but as per our payables department, only 10 payments are processed. Only 10 payments are processed by as per payables department records, but bank statement shows 18 payments are processed. Now they have to find out the reasons. Whether the payables department issued checks and they forgot to record in their books, or is there any fraud happened in the organization by issuing the check without any supplier invoices. They will look into all those points. Finally, the cash department should make sure that the payables payment records, okay, the payables department related payment information is matching with the bank statement. If there is any gap between these two, they need some clarification on that. So that verification process we call as reconciliation. That is the responsibility of cash department. Okay, cash department takes the responsibility of maintaining the bank accounts which are owned by the company. The organization bank accounts can be managed by cash department and they involve in the bank statement reconciliation. Bank statement reconciliation is nothing but cross-checking payables payment data with bank statement data. As per bank statement, how many payments are processed? As per payables department, how many are processed? If there is any difference, the reasons they have to find out, there should be clarity on that. So that is a purpose of cash department. And here you can notice each department is doing their respective activities. And if you want to prepare any reports, okay, if you want to prepare any reports, asset related reports, you can prepare in the asset department. And the payables related reports you can prepare in the payables department. Cash department related reports you can prepare in this department only, and purchase related reports you can prepare here, inventory related here. But if you want to prepare the report across all these departments, okay, if you want to prepare the reports across all these departments, you can have a separate department who can collect the data from all these departments, and so that they can prepare the reports that you can say simply financial reports. Okay, to prepare the report with this common, or you can say across all the departments, we have to collect the data from all the departments. We have to maintain separately so that you will be able to prepare the reports across all the departments. For that, what we have to do is all these departments will share the data with one common department. Reality, you may see in the organizations, there may be some few people will involve in these activities who collects the data from different departments so that based on the data, they can prepare the reports. So this is how the process can be handled if there is any requirement in the organization, right from raising the requisition to till we make the payment. All these activities can be handled across these three departments as a primary. So purchase invoice information we are going to share with asset department. If that purchase invoices belongs to asset purchase, then asset department will create fixed asset based on that, then they calculate depreciation. The payment information will share with the cash department for bank statement reconciliation. All the departments will share the data with a common department to prepare the financial reports. Okay, so this is how the departments can have a communication. This is how the departments are connected to execute certain main or sub processes within the organizations. Now we'll convert these departments into application names. After converting these departments with application names, we will discuss if you have any questions. Okay, so we'll just convert this department. For each department, which application is available from Oracle, we'll talk about it. Then we'll go with questions and answers. So here you can take what inventory department is doing. So inventory department is raising the requisitions and they are getting the approvals. They are passing that information to purchasing department. Along with that, what is the role of inventory department? They maintain the stock. Okay, they maintain the stock. They maintain the material and they do many inventory related activity also. Okay, they do many inventory department, inventory related activities or say warehouse related activities. They involve in many various activities which are related to warehouse. But here you take very high level. So those we can see when we work on the application also. So inventory department responsibility is maintaining the stock. And if any shortage, they have to raise the purchase requisition and they have to get the approvals. To maintain the stock and to raise the purchase requisitions and to implement that approvals and all, we have an application from Oracle that we call as Oracle Fusion Inventory Application. Short name is INV. Okay, we have an application called as Oracle Fusion Inventory from Oracle. By using that, you can maintain the stock. Okay, you can maintain the stock and you can raise the requisition and many other inventory related activities also you can perform by using this application. And to perform all these activities, reality, okay, these activities you can do from sourcing application. These activities you can do from purchasing application. Now we are taking as a standard business process, purchasing department can involve in all these activities. Accordingly, we can take the application name. So to perform the purchasing related activities, we have an application from Oracle that we call as Oracle Fusion Purchasing. The short name for this application is PO. Okay, the application short name is PO. Reality, by using Oracle Fusion Purchasing application, you can do the activities like creating the purchase orders and approvals. These activities you can do. If you want to create the requisitions, okay, request for quotations, RFQs, doing the quotation analysis, choosing the best quotations and all, this all you can do by using the application called as sourcing application. We have an application called as Oracle Fusion Sourcing application. When you go very detailed, that is the point we have to understand. To understand this process flow, you go with this information for purchasing application. Okay, you can say by using the Oracle, by purchasing department can involve in all these activities. This is what you can say. Okay, but when it comes to application, all activities can be handled by sourcing application, Oracle Fusion sourcing application we have, and creating the purchase orders, approvals and all can be handled by Oracle Fusion purchasing application. The reality, the GRN, goods receipt note and purchase returns also you will perform within the inventory department only. But as a sequence of activities, you can take like this. Okay, as a sequence of activities, you can take these activities in this sequence only. And what payables department is doing? The payables department is creating the purchase invoices based on the GRN information, and they are processing the payments as per due dates. So to create the purchase invoices and to process the payments, we have an application from Oracle that we call as Oracle Fusion Accounts Payable, AP. Okay, Oracle Fusion Accounts Payable, AP. By using Oracle Fusion Accounts Payable application, we can create the purchase invoice and we can process the payments. Not only this, we can do many other activities also, but we are trying to understand the process flow. Okay, key activities, what we do in each and every department or application. For that, you can remember these 2 points. Okay, by using Oracle Fusion Accounts Payable application, we can create the purchase invoice and we can process the payments. If purchase invoices belongs to asset related purchase, the payables department should share that information to asset department. What asset department will do? Based on that asset invoice information, they will create the fixed assets and they calculate the depreciation. Okay, they calculate the depreciation. So to create fixed assets and to calculate depreciation, when we have assets, we do the retirement and many other activities also we do. To perform all those activities, or else for now you can take simple point, to maintain the fixed assets and to calculate the depreciation, we have an application from Oracle that we call as Oracle Fusion Fixed Asset. Okay, fixed assets. Short name is FA. By using Oracle Fusion Fixed Assets application, you can create the assets and you can calculate the depreciation. What cash department is doing? They are maintaining the bank accounts and they are doing the bank statement reconciliations. Okay, bank statement reconciliations. So to do these activities, along with that, what are the other activities related to bank accounts, etc. To perform all those activities, Oracle is providing an application for cash department that we call as Oracle Fusion Cash Management. Cash Management, CM, or you can say CE also, because we have another application called as Cost Management. Cost Management, short name is CM only. So that is the reason the cash management application, mostly we refer with the term called as short term called as CE. CE means cash entry. Nothing wrong if you call it CM. Okay, CM means cash management, or you can call it as a CE also. So finally, all the departments can pull the data into one place to prepare the reports. For that, you can, Oracle is providing an application. Oracle is providing an application to collect the data from all these applications to prepare the financial reports. That application name is Oracle Fusion General Ledger. Okay, Oracle is providing Oracle Fusion General Ledger application. The short name is GL. Okay, short name is GL. So we receive the data into Oracle Fusion General Ledger application from all the applications. Okay, from inventory, from accounts, payables, fixed assets, cash management, from all these different applications. We collect the data into one application called as Oracle Fusion General Ledger application. Fine. So this is how for each and every department we have a separate applications from Oracle. So however the communication takes place within the organization across the department, in the same way the applications also Oracle is connecting to establish the same real-time communication. Okay, so whatever you do in the organization, that through these applications you can manage in the system environment. So this process, okay, say today I want to purchase something. I have to raise the requisition, I have to get the approval, get quotations, okay, analyze the quotation, choose best quotation, and place the order, receive the material. If anything wrong with that stock, you can return and pass that information to payables department. They'll create purchase invoice, they make the payment. And if any asset invoice information, you can pass to asset department, payment information, you can pass to cash department. All the data you can send to common department. So this is a very routine job. It is very recurring job. Tomorrow you want to purchase other item. You have to follow this process. Whenever you want to purchase anything, this is the same process we have to follow. The same department should involve. For example, today we purchased 100 laptops. Again, tomorrow you want to purchase 100 laptops. If you are going to purchase tomorrow 100 laptops, yes, you have to raise the requisition, purchase requisition as 100 laptops are required. Today only we purchase 100 laptops. Tomorrow again we are going to purchase 100 laptops. When you are purchasing the laptops tomorrow, you no need to request for quotation. Already you identified the best or the right suppliers to purchase. Say you purchase today and again you are going to purchase laptops after 1 month. If you are going to purchase after 1 month, definitely you have to get the quotations to understand who is offering at best price. Yesterday only we purchased laptops, we got a quotation from different supplier. Again today you are going to buy the laptops, there won't be any huge difference with respect to price in 1 day. That is the reason, say you purchase today, you have to follow this process, complete process what we discussed. If you are going to purchase tomorrow, yes, you have to raise the requisition and you have to get approvals, and you no need to request for quotations, you don't need to receive, no need to analyze, you don't need to choose the best quotation. Already you choose the best quotation yesterday only to purchase the laptops, then directly you can place the purchase order. You can raise the requisition and you can place the purchase order. Okay. So this is how you can manage. And whenever you want to purchase, this is a standard process we have to follow. This process we call as P2P cycle. Okay, this process we call as P2P cycle. P2P cycle. What does it mean by P2P? Okay, P stands for procure. Okay, procure. The numerical 2 stands for TO2. Other P stands for pay. Okay, P2P means procure to pay. So if you look at this process, so we are initiating this process right from procurement. If you want to procure, first we have to raise the requisition. Okay, the process is getting initiated with the procurement and it is ending with a payment. Okay, this P2P, procure to pay, this cycle, this process, we are initiating with a requisition. If you want to purchase something, if you want to procure something, you have to raise the requisition. That's what we are calling as purchase requisition. What we have to procure, that we have to address. So P2P cycle, the P2P cycle, P2P means procure to pay. The procure to pay cycle, primarily these 3 departments are involved, or you can say with respect to product and all, you can say these 3 applications. The P2P cycle, primarily these 3 departments are involved. Which departments? Inventory department, purchase department, and payables department. So the process is getting initiated with purchase requisition and the process will end with a payment. Okay, procure to pay, right from procurement activity to payment activity, means from requisition to payment we call as P2P cycle. And the same information we are sharing with fixed assets, cash management, and this common department. This is all about just sharing. The real activities takes place across these 3 departments. That means in the P2P cycle, what are the key departments? You can say inventory, purchasing, and payables or accounts payable. Okay, accounts payable. So why we are calling it as a cycle? It will keep repeating. It is a recurring activity. If you want to buy today, yes, you have to follow this process. This all departments should involve. If you want to buy tomorrow, yes, the same process we have to execute. So this is kind of cycling activity. It is like repeated activity. That is the reason we are calling as a cycle. Okay, P2P cycle means procure to pay cycle. In procure to pay cycle, the process will get initiated with a purchase requisition. It ends with payment. Okay, ends with the payment. The other departments which are involved just to collect the data only. Okay, the cash department will collect payments data from payables. That is not a business activity. And asset department will collect fixed asset related invoices. That is not a business activity. Internally, we are going to maintain the data, which data is required in which department. Finally, all the departments will share the data with a common department, or you can say we share the data from all applications to general ledger application. Okay, this is also internally we are going to maintain. As a core business activities, these three departments are going to involve, okay, related to procure and do pay process. Procure to pay we are calling as. Okay, we are calling as P2P cycle. Okay, so if somebody is going to ask the question, could you please explain P2P cycle? You have to explain, you have to follow this process only. Simply you can explain like this. Okay, in P2P cycle, P2P stands for procure to pay cycle. In procure to pay cycle, the process can be initiated if there is any demand in the organization. So whatever the requirement we have, accordingly, inventory department has to see. I'm referring the department name. We know the application name. You don't need to refer the application name. Always refer department name only. Okay. If any shortage within the inventory department will raise the purchase requisition, and after getting the approvals, that approved purchase requisition information, inventory department will pass to purchase department. Based on the purchase requisition, the purchase department will raise the RFQ, request for quotation. Then they'll receive the quotation from suppliers and they do the quotation analysis. Finally, they choose the best quotation and they'll place the purchase order with approvals. Supplier will supply the material and our organization will receive the material and will create the GRN, goods receipt note, or you can call as a receipt. And if any damage for the item what we received, we can perform the purchase returns to return the same goods back to the supplier. And purchase department will pass GRN information to payables department. Based on GRN information, payables department can create purchase invoice and they'll make the payment as per due date. The payment information payables department will share with the cash department for bank statement reconciliation purpose. And if any purchase invoices belongs to asset related purchase, payables department will share that information to asset department. Based on that, asset department can create asset and they can calculate the depreciation. Finally, all the department can share the data to common department to prepare the financial reports. This is how you can say, or else by referring the application names also you can explain. Okay, could you please explain P2P cycle? You can say P2P stands for procure to pay cycle. Okay, as a part of inventory application, we can create the purchase invoice, purchase requisition. Once it's get approved, that information we can transfer to, we can pass to purchasing application. Within the purchasing application, you can create RFQ, you can do this, all these activities, what we discussed. You can refer with the application name also, but if you refer the department name, that really makes sense. Okay, when you explain about this process, for which department, what applications we have, we discussed. Okay, so when we explain about this process, always refer with the department name only. Okay, with the department name only. If I ask the question, what are the primary departments are involved in the P2P cycle? I could say the primary departments are inventory, purchasing, and payables. If you get the question like, what are the key applications are involved in the P2P cycle? You can say applications are inventory application, purchasing application, payable application. Okay, but you show interest to refer these names with the departments. Okay, so that will help us. So this is all about P2P cycle. Even these activities can be handled by sourcing application. As a to understand the P2P cycle, you can take these all the activities under purchasing application only. Okay, so this is what we have to understand about P2P cycle. You should remember and you should be able to explain. Okay, So any questions on this, please?
Hi, Lakshman. This is Guna here.
Please.
Yeah. Do we have any specific time bar for RFQ process? Just say like if at all I'm getting a laptop for within next 15 days, I'll be placing an order to the same supplier. If it is
Yes,
post 30 days,
in the purchase order, you will be providing the schedules accordingly. Okay, when you need, there will be shipment schedules as per purchase orders. Okay, which item, how much quantity, when you need in the next month, you will be clearly mentioning the schedule time. You will schedule it. Accordingly, supplier will supply.
okay, if at all I again need it, so I'll be reaching out to the same supplier, right? Like second time, if at all I need it.
Yes, yes,
Or
yes. That's all about the organization, the procurement or purchasing department decision. Okay. So by the time if they identify some other suppliers who are giving at best price, they may change the supplier.
Okay, so we don't have any standard time bar for RFQ process. It changes, right?
No, RFQ, when they are raising RFQ, request for quotation, they will request, definitely they'll inform. They'll inform, please try to provide the quotations within 10 days. Okay, after 10 days, we'll start finalizing the quotation process. Okay, we can include that time also. It could be purchase order. You can give the what would be the shipment timings, by which date they have to supply. If it is RFQ, request for quotations, they can inform to the supplier, we need quotation on so and so item, and please provide the quotation by tomorrow. If you send the quotation after tomorrow, we don't consider that is valid, because by tomorrow, by day after tomorrow, we are going to do the quotation analysis to choose the best quotation. Right? This is how you can pass that information in that RFQ also.
Okay, Lakshman, thank you. I have another question here.
Please.
Just say like if the supplier is from another country, is there any change in purchasing department or will it remain
No,
constant?
currency will be different. Okay, currency will be different. So we see when currency is going to different. So you are going to place order to US supplier. So in India, INR, in US, USD. So between these two currencies, we have to manage the exchange rates. We have many concepts like that, like we'll deal with the foreign currencies. There you will understand how we can manage if currencies are different. Yes, that is possible. Okay. So with a different currency, with a different supplier, different country suppliers, different country customers, we can deal in such kind of scenarios. We can go with the same single currency or different currencies as per the countries. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Lakshman.
Yeah, thanks. Any other questions here, please?
Yeah,
So,
Lakshman. My question is about bank statement reconciliation.
Yeah.
So is there any chance that bank statement supposed 10 and the payable payment is supposed less than the bank statement?
Yes. Okay. You are taking the example as bank statement, as per bank statement, 10 payments. As per
Yeah.
payables payments, maybe 4.
Yeah.
Yes, possible. So why bank statement shows you processed 10 payments in the last month? Please go on mute. We are getting some noise. I'll explain. Please. Okay. So bank statement shows 10 payments processed. But payables department is showing 4 payments only. They processed 4 payments only. So there might be the case where they issued the checks. Okay. 4 payments they recorded in the system. The remaining 6, say they issued the checks, they might have forgot to enter in the application. Okay, that could be the reason. There are chances, definitely. You can see more in the bank statement, less in the from payables department, more in the payables department side, less in the bank statement. For everything, there will be certain reasons. If you see like this, the reason could be the reality they issued the checks. Say they written and given manual checks to the suppliers, but the accountant forgot to enter in the payables application as they process the payment. So such kind of scenarios can give this kind of result.
Okay. Thank you, Lakshman.
Any other questions?
So Lakshman sir,
Please.
The question is related to taxes.
Yeah.
Now these days we have a lot of indirect taxes, right? Like for 5% VAT or maybe 8% VAT, 15% VAT. So this VAT sits basically this the VAT code, right? So that is available in each and every module. So it will be configured as part of sourcing system or the payable system.
No, no, no. So that totally depends. That totally depends. Again, it falls under the country localization. You are doing the tax calculations you are doing for which country. For few countries, we have a separate application called as Fusion Tax. We are going to work on it. We have an application called as Fusion Tax. The application name is Oracle Fusion Tax. By using this application, you can configure the tax wherever the rules are applicable. Accordingly, it will get calculated. You can specify whether in the which cycle, in say P2P cycle, the tax need to be calculated. Again, for which event, whatever the transactions we record in the application, those we call as events. For which event tax need to be applicable, you can set. That is one option. The other option is for few countries, you have to apply the patch. Oracle will apply the patch. The tax related functionality will be added. There you have to do the setups. Accordingly, tax will get calculated. Okay. Here sourcing and all those levels, nothing will get calculated because you are not taking the final action. It is like internal process. Fine.
Okay.
It totally depends on the country localization. Accordingly, the tax solutions are available. If you are using the Fusion Tax based on the country, say you are going to do the implementation for US, you can use the Fusion Tax. You are going to do implementation for other country. Some patches are required, then only the functionality can be added. So within that configuration, you can specify where tax need to be applicable. Accordingly, you can set up based on that system will trigger the tax calculations. We'll see anyway, we'll work on the Oracle Fusion Tax application. We will configure whenever you create the transaction as per your tax setups, how system will trigger the tax calculations. We'll go through that process also. Yep. We'll see that.
So Rashmi sir, my second question is now these days, companies like normally what companies does, the big companies does, they raise the PR in Oracle and rest of the in between, let's say they raise the PR in Oracle and they convert the PO in Oracle Fusion. In between, there are so many steps, like you said, sending the quotation, analyzing the quotations and those things. That can be done through a third-party system called Ariba, for example. So here the interface in the integration will come into the picture, right?
Correct. If that is a scenario, they do like this.
Yeah.
They integrate Oracle Fusion Inventory with Ariba sourcing system. Ariba sourcing system, they'll integrate with
Fusion
for
creating the purchase order. Yeah,
that's it. Or else to do these activities, they can use Oracle Fusion sourcing application also. Instead of going with Ariba or some other third-party applications, they can use Oracle Fusion sourcing application also. Yeah.
Okay.
That is also we have. Okay. See, this is a standard procurement process, procurement and payment process related cycle. So there could be some other way of routings in the business process that totally depends on the business processes. But as a P2P cycle, this process we have to understand. Yeah. So you don't need to address these activities can be done in the sourcing, but reality RFQs and all will do through sourcing. But to understand the P2P cycle, you can take as a part of procurement purchasing department, we can do all these activities. If somebody is going to put a cross question, really can we do RFQ process, quotation analysis and all through purchasing, then you can give a note as this can be handled by separate application called as or separate department called as sourcing. That's it. Yeah. Fine. Any other questions here, please?
Yes. Hi, Lakshman. This is Prashant.
Yeah, Prashant, please.
The IR will usually see that will where we can see the part take the place in this process.
So here only between you have application like purchasing and order management applications, right? So that is one type of transaction, that's all. Okay. Here we are just taking as a requisition. Okay, you are taking as a purchase requisition, and all these are as a standard. When we talk about detailed process in the different application, we have a different type of requisitions and different type of purchase orders, different type of receipts. So to handle that business scenario, we can use that document. That's all.
Okay, thank you. My next question is where we can say that R2R process. In this process, it will include, or after the process, it will start R2R.
R12.
R2R, record to report.
See, R2R, once data is available, it's all about generating the reports that we call as R2R. Okay. So when we execute, when we work on this P2P cycle and other cycles, data will get generated. So collecting the data from the different sources and preparing that reports as per your organization requirement, that process itself you are calling as a R2R cycle, R2R process. So data generation here, this is a actual business process, and that R2R related to report generation. Once data is available across the applications by following any cycle, you can prepare the reports. Okay, it is not like doing something separately for that. It is all about collecting the data and preparing the reports with that title.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
Yeah, fine, thanks.
Lakshman, one quick question.
Please.
Suppose if we have an integration between two leading applications like Ariba and Oracle Fusion,
Okay.
that comes under SaaS or PaaS? I think PaaS, correct?
No. See, already we discussed. The point already we discussed.
Yeah.
When you talk about integrations you can do in SaaS and PaaS. Okay, here we discussed, right? Integrations. There is no limitation for integrations based on what subscription you have. It can be SaaS. Yes, you can do integrations. If you are using PaaS, yes, that is also allowed. Only the difference is customizations.
Okay.
Okay.
If we are building a complete new platform, then we need to come under PaaS, correct?
Sorry.
If we are building a whole new application, then we need to go for PaaS.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, some custom application, not completely like it's some modifications are required as per that business process. Business process is complex, then you can go with a PaaS. Okay, depending on the integration requirements, you don't need to choose SaaS or PaaS. Depending on your customization requirements, you have to choose. If customizations are there, go for PaaS. Otherwise, best option is SaaS. Integrations anyway possible in SaaS and PaaS. Fine. Any other questions?
Lakshman, I have a doubt.
Please.
Yeah. So actually in my previous project, they said like we are moving to the cloud. Like I mean to say like the data will be stored on cloud, but we did not see anything as specific to the R12. So what does it mean? It mean like it's an IaaS application or how is that?
No, what they said,
we are
we
able
are
to
moving to
access the
cloud, they
database.
said.
Yeah.
No, you are mentioning that they said we are moving to cloud. Okay.
Yes.
After that, what happened?
Like we are accessing the same database and everything is same, but the data got moved to cloud, it seems. So like nothing changed in the R12.
Oh, maybe see, there might be still working on that. Okay. See, if they says we are moving to cloud, maybe they might have started moving to cloud. It takes time. When you move to cloud from EBS, okay, again it is like re-implementation only.
Okay.
You cannot upgrade from EBS to Fusion. That option is not available. Okay. From EBS to Fusion, you cannot upgrade. If you are a EBS customer, if you want to move to Fusion, now EBS you have to treat as a legacy.
Okay.
And you have to do all the setups as per the solutions, how they required in the Fusion, and you have to move the data from EBS to Fusion. Still you are accessing the data from EBS only in the sense, I think still they might be working on it. Or else there are some different options also. Instead of going with all the applications to Fusion, they can go for only GL related for reporting purpose. To prepare the financial reports, they move for Fusion that we call as FH. Okay. FH solution we have, or else just only FRS solutions also we have, just client will go for financial report solution for Fusion. So what happens is you will be recording the transactions, everything in the EBS only across all the applications. Finally, data will goes to Fusion Financial Reporting Studio. There you can prepare the reports. Hyperion financial reports you can prepare in the Fusion application, and rest of your applications will be managing within the EBS only.
Okay.
But what exactly their roadmap, we don't know. Like if they says we are going to Fusion, means whether they are in the process or they're planning or they what extent they did, we have to understand. Because still if you are accessing the data from the EBS database, that means you are still on EBS environment only.
So like storing the data on the cloud and managing the like application on the Artful, is that not possible?
No, not possible. Okay, for EBS applications, no, that is not like.
Okay, thank you.
So that is possible in case of HFR. There is a HFR reporting. Okay. So that too, which database? GL related database only you can maintain.
Okay.
So from GL data will goes to one database called as SBase for HFR reporting. So that you can manage.
Okay.
Right.
So
Any other questions?
I have other question.
Please.
Because I'm with respect to the technical background. So what my question is like, based on the IaaS, PaaS and SaaS, right? What is the part of database here?
What is the
part of like database? Like when we'll be using the database?
Oh, see. So use any application, do any setup or create any transaction, data will go to store in the database.
Right.
And if you want to generate the reports, whatever the data is available in the database, the data can be fetched from database. If you want to write the direct queries, SQL queries on the database, you can connect to database in case of SaaS or PaaS, and you can extract the data, or you can input the data, you can do various operations.
Okay, the same way as we do in Art.
Same as EBS,
Okay. Yeah.
See, just environment is going to be changed as we discussed in the last session. So where you are going to deploy your instance, where you are going to deploy your applications, that makes the difference. So earlier in EBS, almost the solution you can see as on-premise, our own servers. In case of cloud, the applications will be lying in the virtual servers. That is only the difference.
Okay.
Just everything is same. Again, what you are choosing, SaaS or PaaS, based on that, you can do customizations. In case of PaaS, in SaaS, you cannot do customization. That's how very small limitations you can come across. Fine. So that's all about P2P cycle. Any questions from anyone, please?
Lakshman,
I want to know about purchase returns process. Customer has sent PO, he received the order, and he want to return the order after doing the payment. Can you please explain clear on purchase return?
Yeah, we'll see when we are working on the system, we'll discuss those. We'll see that. We'll work on purchase returns also. At that time, you can raise that. By that time, you will be knowing many things.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So we can understand. Yeah. This is just, see, there are many scenarios. Totally, we have to agree. Those are all we are going to do in the system. By referring this process, we cannot discuss everything. That is only the point. Yeah. So as a P2P cycle, what we have to understand, we are discussing. Based on this, once we start working on the system, there are many concepts which are connected with this process. All we will discuss. Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Lakshman, when we say that sourcing,
your voice is breaking. No, it's not clear. The same, no change. Yeah, please try. Let's see.
Yeah. So when you say that sourcing is a different application purchase, Oracle Fusion purchasing. So is it same like order management? Order management also, do we have the same different application?
That's a different application. See, sourcing is different from order management. That comes in the sales process.
My question is,
Yeah.
My question is like, Oracle Fusion purchasing and order management, is this the same or different applications?
Different applications. Okay,
Okay.
now we are talking about procurement
Thank you.
process, right? When you talk about sales process, that application will come into picture.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Lakshman. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Here. Yeah. So the question is, I'm from technical background, so I have a zero knowledge on accounting side. Okay, like whenever we create the invoice, so which account goes to receivable account?
Yes.
And yeah, so you will be explain all those things, right?
Yeah. See, when you talk about accounting, it is a system where everything is automated. Okay, Oracle build this application, which department, what activities they does, and how accounting should takes place based on the activity. Say, for example, purchase invoice. When you create purchase invoice, you no need to select which account should goes to debit, which account goes to credit. If you create purchase invoice, it will create accounting automatically. You have to understand what accounting it is creating. By seeing, you can understand. You no need to go and select what should goes to debit and credit, not required. Because this is not a plain environment. It is well configured and automated environment. So when we are creating the transactions also, I'll show you how accounting takes place. That is easy. Okay. Even if you're not aware of the accounting finance part, when you go through these classes, you can understand. Okay. Almost everything is automated. What happens when you create transaction, what accounting entry it is creating. The system, the application is creating, you have to see and you have to remember, that's all.
Yeah, why I ask this question is because someone is asking when I was attended the interviews as well. So they are asking when the invoice is created, how the accounting flow will be happen.
Yeah, that I'll explain.
Yeah.
Okay, what account we have to provide, where, when system will take that account. Those definitely we are going through all those scenarios in our classes. Yeah. You'll come to know all those. Fine. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Lakshman sir, so I have a question on database.
Yeah, please.
Let's say, sir, yesterday you were saying if you are going on cloud environment, you don't need a DBA, correct? So let's say if I'm using R12 and my DBA is on my servers are on premise and database I can play around anyway, right? So when we are moving to cloud, so how that part will be taken care? Let's say if I want to add a new field in R12, it was the customization was very friendly and we were adding the field and we were linking with the table, right? When we are going with cloud, so how this process will be managed? Because I don't have a DB on my premises now.
See, one point. See, why DBA is required? Why DBA is required? Some patch application. Okay.
Yes.
If you want to apply the patch, you can apply. If you have your own DBA, for example, in EBS, you can directly communicate and you can ask them to apply the patch. Here, what we'll do is we have to raise SR to Oracle and they will apply the patch. And you want to create one table. Okay. Do you think DBA is required? No. Okay. You can directly go to create the table. Here in the Fusion, if you want to create the table or if you want to add some column or if you want to create some page, etc. If you have access to PaaS environment, that is enough. We don't need to contact the DBA for that. If you are a PaaS customer, you can do that, all those directly. You'll have the privileges. If you have a SaaS customer, even if you have your own DBA, no use. Even Oracle DBAs are there, no use. That environment itself, it won't allow you to do that. So that is the point. So here, if you want to add some field or if you want to create some page or if you want to do some other activity with respect to technical, DBA is not required. If anything wrong with respect to some functionality, Oracle is recommending to apply the patch or some database bounce, we have to bounce the database, etc. With these reasons, DBAs are required. For customizations, adding the field, creating the new pages, altogether creating the new applications, we don't need to talk to the DBAs. If you are a past customer, you can do all those directly. Okay.
That is
Any
the
DBA
flexibility you
support
will
is
have
required, you can talk to
in
Oracle. That
PaaS,
is
right?
also there. So however you
Okay.
interact with your DBA in case of EBS, in the same way, there won't be any dedicated DBA in your team since they don't have any permissions to touch the instance from the DBA side. Oracle is providing the DBAs. If any DBA related activity support you require, talk to Oracle DBAs. Raise SR, service request, then they'll connect to the DBAs and you can talk to them.
Okay, so that will be free or it will attract some
Free
cost
only,
like,
free. That is free.
okay,
If you
it's
are
a
a
free.
PaaS
Okay.
customer, even if you are a
Uh-huh.
SaaS customer for basic patch applications and all, you are doing some customizations and all, in that case, you should be a PaaS customer, right?
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
While applying the patches, our DBA is responsible for any
Everything.
application.
We no need to worry about anything. So if any patches we are going to apply, reality how we apply the patches, first we apply the patches on the test instances, which is cloned and all. If everything is working fine, we can intimate to, however we intimate to our DBS in case of EBS in the same way, in Fusion we can intimate to Oracle DBS saying that we applied patch and we tested, everything is working fine. Now you can apply the patch on the production.
Yeah.
That
Either to Oracle DBS or if you have your own DBS at your
no
premises,
chance. No
they
chance.
can also. No,
No
even
chance.
with PaaS.
We cannot have our own DBA. It can be SaaS or PaaS.
So if we have a PaaS license,
PaaS also
PaaS
no chance.
no chance, right?
No
So you need
chance.
to get in touch with Oracle.
Yes. PaaS will allow you to do the customizations. DBS always from the Oracle side of cloud DBS.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Fine. So that's all about the P2P cycle, procure to pay cycle. Please remember, if any possibility from your side, give the presentation to someone. Okay, this is how you have to get ready. Give some presentation. Okay, you can give presentations to somebody in your home. So I'll explain you P2P cycle. These are the departments involved. These are the activities. This is how process flow works. Explain it. That's how it will become your experience. And easily you'll be able to talk about this terminology, process flow, and you can build a command. I mean, you can get a good command about this cycle. The same way, whatever we are going to discuss, you can make a plan of giving presentation. Okay, so that will help you in all the ways, and you will get a lot of confidence by giving the presentation and take the feedback from them. Okay, how you explained about P2P cycle, take feedback. They'll give the feedback like, okay, you are explaining, but you are struggling to explain, and you are covering all the points, but there is no good flow. And there is a flow, but there is no confidence in your face when you are explaining. This is how you take the feedback and try to correct those. That's how you have to prepare this content and get ready with the P2P cycle. In the tomorrow session, we'll talk about sales cycle, and the sales cycle, it won't take much time, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. The remaining 1 hour or 1 hour, 15 minutes time, we can start working on instance after discussing few other points related to instance process. Okay. Tomorrow session, we'll talk about sales process and we'll start working on the instance from tomorrow itself. So any questions on P2P or related to previous 2 classes or related to this course, you can raise your questions.
Yeah, hi Lakshman sir.
Please.
Sir, there is one module, cost management. So that is related to asset or that is a different module?
No, not related to asset. Okay.
Oh.
That is separate application. Tomorrow session, I'll classify the applications which falls under finance, which falls under so and so we'll discuss. Yeah.
Okay,
that is separate application.
Okay.
Part of, yeah.
So create accounting to take part in asset and in payables also. So you will
everywhere, wherever you record the transaction,
okay.
So their accounting takes place.
Okay.
See, in our classes, what we'll do is we'll create the transaction and we'll create the accounting, and we will provide the accounts from where it is taking. All these points we'll discuss. That is very, very important. Okay. If you just create purchase invoice, you can understand how to create purchase invoice. Along with that, how system is generating the accounting entry. What is going to debit, what is going to credit, from where it is taking debit account, from where it is taking credit account. Before that, we have to understand where we can provide those accounts. Finally, like the system will create accounting. So like source from where it is taking also we have to discuss. We'll work on all those. Okay. Setup part. Okay. We'll do the setups. We understand everything theoretically. We just work on the process. When we are working on the process, we have to observe many things. Those all we'll discuss. And reporting.
Hi, Lakshman.
Please.
In the last question, somebody was talking about Oracle DBA. So I'm from accounting background, so I'm not sure about the DBA and also will be discussed on future class.
Yeah, what is the DBA? I'll talk about. Okay.
Okay.
I'll take one session how what would be the different team members in each and every project and what would be the roles, and I'll explain there. You can understand that. I'll take one session on that. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Fine. Thank you. Any
Hi,
other
Lakshman,
questions?
sir. A quick question, sir. Our company is, going for Ariba, implementation. So, if they implement Ariba, so can they be handling without inventory application and purchasing application? Should this application should be there?
See, now we discussed about P2P cycle. So your client may use some third-party applications in the place of accounts payable application, or else for inventory and purchasing, they can have some third-party applications, rest of applications they can have from Oracle. Okay, you can replace any one of these applications with other applications. That is possible. Only the challenge is you have to create the integrations. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah,
thanks.
possible. Like, see here we have around how many applications? 6 applications. Out of 6, I want to use only 2 applications. That is Oracle Fusion Accounts Payable, Oracle Fusion General Ledger application. Remaining 4 applications I want to use from third party. Yes, possible. But in that scenarios, you have to create the integration between the third party applications and the payables, the third party applications and the general ledger application as per how the data communication is required. Right. Any other questions, please?
Lakshman sir, this scanned invoice copies will sit in which application? It will be part of Oracle Fusion Payables?
Yes, payables. We are going to work on it. We will see that process also. Okay. The images will come to imaging center. From there, you can import the data into payables application.
Okay, so for that, there is no separate application as such, right?
Separate application we don't have. For that, Oracle is maintaining separate server to manage all the scanned images. Okay, so that from there we can pull into payables application.
It's again an integration concept.
No, that is an inbuilt integration. You don't need to do it. That is Oracle is offering that solution. So you don't need to build any integration. If it is EBS, you have to do that, right?
Okay.
In Fusion, an invoice imaging solution is inbuilt solution. Okay, you don't need to create any integrations. Directly you can use it. I'll cover all those. Okay, this is all we have in our course curriculum. Okay, so we'll work on this. Fine. Any other questions? If no questions, we can wind up for today. We'll connect tomorrow same time. Any questions, please? No questions. So that's all for today. See you tomorrow same time. Thank you all.